$100 million. And the first thing you'll learn, the thing nobody warns you about, is that losing it doesn't feel like anything, not at first. Everyone studies the climb. There are 1,000 videos about the way up. The first $10,000, the first 100,000, the first million, how it feels, what it costs, who you have to become. Nobody tells you what the way down feels like. So this is that video, from $100 million to zero, every level of losing it. And the first rule of the descent is the one that ruins most people before they even understand they're falling. The way down is not the way up in reverse. You lose $50 million. Half. Gone. A bad bet, a bad partner, a market that turned while you were looking the other way. And your life does not change by a single degree. Same table at the same restaurant, same flight, same Tuesday. You see the number move on a screen, and then you close the laptop and go to dinner, because at this altitude, money isn't a resource, it's a scoreboard, and half of a scoreboard this large is still more than your day will ever touch. This is the most dangerous moment of the entire fall. Rule 1. At the top, loss is invisible. The richer you are, the longer you can pretend nothing is happening, and that pretending is not protection. It's the trap. The fall has already started. You just can't feel it yet. This is where the first people leave. Not your money, your circle, the board members who were really just positions in a portfolio, the partners who shook your hand because of the number behind it, the friends who, it turns out, were a kind of asset class. They don't make a scene. They just stop returning calls as fast. The lunch gets rescheduled. The introduction never comes. And the reputation you spent 20 years building, the one that used to open every door before you knocked, starts asking questions instead of answering them. Rule 2. On the way up, your reputation is an asset that opens doors. On the way down, it becomes a liability that compounds. The same name that used to attract money now attracts caution. Word travels. And it travels fastest among the people who were never really yours. 90% of it, gone. And this is the level where it stops being abstract and starts being personal. You start explaining yourself to investors who want to know what happened, to a spouse who's noticed the tone of the phone calls, to the mirror at 3 in the morning running the same 5 decisions on a loop. Here's the cruelty of it. The lifestyle was built for $10 million and it does not shrink as fast as the number does. The house, the school fees, the staff, the standing costs, they're all loyal to the version of you that no longer exists. Rule 3. Wealth is elastic going up and rigid coming down. Your spending learned to shape at the top, and it refuses to forget it. You can lose the money in a year. The habits take far longer to die, and they keep spending the whole time. For the first time in years, you check a price before you buy. It's a small thing, a flicker. You catch yourself doing the math at the counter, the exact reflex you spent a decade training yourself out of, and something in your chest drops, because you know what it means. The millionaire feeling doesn't evaporate when you hit zero. It evaporates here, at the moment you'd swear you still have plenty. $500,000, and it already feels like sand. So you sell the thing you swore you'd never sell. The watch. The second property. The stake in the company you built. And you tell yourself it's strategic. Repositioning. Freeing up capital. It isn't. It's the first concession. Rule 4. You don't go broke when you run out of money. You go broke when you run out of things to sell. At the top, your assets bought other assets. They worked while you slept. Now they keep the lights on. You're liquidating in the wrong order, at the wrong time, into a market that can smell a forced seller from a mile away. Everything you offload goes for less than it's worth because the one thing you no longer have is the ability to wait. And the people still around you stop asking how you're doing, not because they stopped caring, because they already know, and asking would just make you say it out loud. Rule 5. At the top, money buys you time. On the way down, the money you don't have starts charging you interest, and time stops being something you spend. It becomes the one thing you can't afford. The buffer is gone. Not the money, the buffer, the cushion that let you make calm decisions. The slack that meant a bad month was an inconvenience instead of a crisis. That's what actually disappears here. And it's worth more than the dollars it was made of. So every choice gets emotional again, the way it was at the very beginning. Except it's heavier now. Because at the beginning, you didn't know what calm felt like. And now you do. You're choosing against a memory. On paper, you're not even poor. 100 grand, 10 grand, people kill for that. But you're not poor by the number. You're poor by trajectory. And you can feel the difference. Rule 6. The hardest part of falling isn't the bottom. It's the speed. And the moment you realize you can feel it picking up. And here you are, back to the math at the checkout. Back to moving money between accounts on a Sunday night to make a number work. Back to $12.47 in a way that someone, somewhere, is experiencing for the very first time, full of hope, with no idea what's coming. But you are not them. Because here's the part nobody tells you. You arrive at Zbo as a completely different person than the one who left it. The person who built it knew how to build. The person who lost it knows what it costs. What it actually costs, in the currency the climb never charges you until the descent collects. And those are not the same knowledge. The second one is rarer. Almost nobody gets to learn it, because almost nobody comes back down with their eyes open. 0 on the way up is a starting line. 0 on the way down is a verdict. Same number. The meaning is the only thing that changed, and the meaning is the one thing you still get to decide. Everyone wants to know how to get to 100 million. Almost nobody asks the harder question, what happens if you have to climb it twice? And the strange thing, the thing you'd never believe from the bottom, is that the ones who do it twice are never really building money the second time. They already know they can lose it. They watched it go. What they're building the second time is the one thing the fall taught them they actually own, the part of you that the number was never measuring in the first place. That part was never for sale. Which means it was the only thing the descent could never take.